You finally got the thing you wanted. The promotion, the relationship, the recognition. And somewhere in the quiet after it arrived, you felt like a fraud. Not grateful, not proud. Just waiting to be found out. And the strangest part, the more you succeeded, the more hollow it felt. There's a reason for that. And it isn't the reason most people think. You've worked for this, maybe for years. And yet when people congratulate you, something tightens in your chest. You smile, you say thank you. But inside, a quiet voice says, they don't really know me. If they did, they'd take it back. You start to over-explain your process. You deflect the credit, you minimize. Oh, it was just luck, I had a lot of help. And when you're alone, you replay the gap. The gap between who you appear to be and who you feel you actually are. They noticed it most in high-achieving women. It was first documented in 1978 by psychologists Pauline Clance and Susan Amez. It affects an estimated 70% of people at some point in their lives. That number is not small. That number is almost everyone. So why does success feel like a setup for being exposed? Before we go further, understand this. You are not broken. You are not secretly incompetent. The feeling of being a fraud is not evidence that you are one. In fact, research shows that genuinely incompetent people rarely feel like imposters. They tend to overestimate their ability, not underestimate it. This is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. The doubt you carry, that's a signal of self-awareness, not inadequacy. But here's where it gets interesting. If this feeling isn't a flaw, what is it actually doing? Why does the brain generate it at all? Your brain is a prediction machine. And it does this based on the past. At its core, based on what has always been running simulations about you, what's about your environment, next, about what you deserve. This is called the predictive processing model of the brain. Think of it like this. Imagine you've lived your whole life in a house with low ceilings. One day you move into a house with high ceilings. You still flinch when you stand up too fast. Your body hasn't updated the map yet. Your brain is doing the same thing. When your external reality changes faster than your internal self-model. When success arrives before your sense of identity can catch up. The brain flags a mismatch. That mismatch feels like something is wrong. This can't be real. I don't belong here. There's a psychological concept called self-discrepancy theory, developed by E. Torrey Higgins. It describes the tension
when
between
success
who you
comes,
actually are,
it collides directly with the feared self, the version of you that isn't good enough. And the brain, trying to protect you from future disappointment, sounds an alarm. That alarm is imposter syndrome. It's not the enemy. It's a guard dog trained on old information. So how do you update the map? Here are 5 principles, each one grounded in how the brain actually changes. 1. Name the alarm, don't obey it. When the feeling arrives, don't fight it. Just notice it. There's the imposter feeling again. This is called cognitive diffusion, a technique from acceptance and commitment therapy. When you name a feeling, you activate the prefrontal cortex. That shifts processing away from the amygdala, the brain's threat center. In daily life, before a big meeting where you feel like a fraud, say to yourself quietly, I notice I feel like I don't belong. Not, I don't belong. Notice the difference. 2. Build an evidence file. The brain is biased toward threats, not wins. This is negativity bias, a documented evolutionary trait. You need to manually counterbalance it. Keep a private document, not a brag file, just honest records. Things you figured out, problems you solved, moments you came through. Your brain updates its predictions from evidence. Give it better evidence. In daily life, write one specific thing down per week. Not, I did well, but I solved the conflict between the 2 teammates when no one else stepped in.
When you deflect credit reflexively,
I just got lucky. You are reinforcing the neural pathway that says, this wasn't mine to begin with. This is called attribution style in psychology. People with impostor syndrome tend to attribute successes externally, luck, timing, and failures internally. I'm just not good enough. Practice saying, I worked hard on that and it paid off. Not as a performance, as a correction. In daily life, next time someone compliments your work, pause 1 full second before responding. Then say something true, not inflated, just accurate. 4. Let the discomfort be information, not instruction. Discomfort at a new level often means you're growing, not failing. In neuroscience, this state is sometimes called optimal anxiety, the zone just outside your comfort range where neuroplasticity is highest. The brain is literally rewiring. Of course it feels unstable. In daily life, when you feel out of your depth in a new role, ask, is this fear of failure or is this the feeling of expanding? Often they're the same feeling wearing different clothes. 5. Update the story you tell about your past. Memory is reconstructive, not a recording. Every time you recall a memory, you slightly rewrite it. This is called memory reconsolidation. Most people with imposter syndrome remember their past as a series of lucky breaks. Try retelling it, not as luck, but as choices you made, despite fear that compounded over time. In daily life, once a month, write down one past event and describe it from the perspective of someone who trusted themselves, because somewhere in that moment, you did. Here's the one thing to carry with you. Your sense of self is a map, and maps take time to update. When success arrives and the feeling of fraudulence follows, that gap isn't proof you don't deserve it. It's proof that your reality changed before your map did. The work isn't to feel worthy before you act. The work is to act and let the map slowly catch up. Competence and confidence don't arrive together. Competence almost always comes first, and the feeling of belonging follows quietly, gradually, the more evidence you give your brain to work with. You have been carrying something that was never yours to carry. The story that you got here by accident, that at any moment someone will notice you don't quite fit. But consider this. The people who feel most certain they belong often never question whether they deserve to. They were simply never taught to doubt themselves so precisely. Your doubt isn't weakness. It's a very old form of self-protection. And you can thank it and then gently put it down. Because the version of you that kept going, despite the doubt, despite the fear,